welcome to all of you. Thanks for being here today. Major, let me just start with you. You've covered politics for a long time. What's the state of political discourse in America today?
Deteriorating, I would say. Not in the sense that the content is deteriorating, but the assumptions about each other are deteriorating.
I think that one of the things that happens to you when you're running for office, you kind of have your team, and your team does make the assumption the other team is bad.
I'm a partisan Democrat. I think partisanship is a healthy thing. It's the hyper-partisanship that's killing us.
As much as you say that the polarizing debate on either side, both parties have this, there's a vast middle in Congress that has civil debate in committee all the time, has it on the floor, but it doesn't get featured unless you're watching, CNN and really a junkie on the thing, watching it.
We don't show traffic running smoothly. We film 18-car pileups, okay? Traffic running smoothly and doing what's supposed to happen isn't news.
Let's talk a little bit about campaigns and campaign ads, and maybe Major, since you've been a journalist for some time, you'll be our first victim for our hypothetical and become a campaign strategist for just a moment. You're working for a House incumbent who's down by 5 points, and 3 weeks to go before Election Day, your opponent is young, first-time candidate, and you know about unflattering pictures that were taken of him in college while he was inebriated. Under the circumstances, it's your last shot. What do you do? Do you try to get those pictures out?
As a campaign strategist, certainly.
So how do you get it out?
Well, and this is one of the things that is different about the world of campaigns than when I first came to Washington and started interacting with national campaigns in 1990. Back then, there were 1 or 2 or 3 places you could drop something, and there would be a very high bar to whether or not it would be dropped.
You mean give it to a reporter?
Give it to a reporter. And they would say, wait a minute, I've got to verify, I've got to run this down, blah, blah, blah.
But these are pictures. We're talking about pictures of a political candidate, young in college.
You can drop this in 1, 2, or even 6 blogs, some friendly, some semi-friendly, and they'll get out there. And with very few or almost no fingerprints.
But if your goal is to win the election, then you're going to do whatever it takes. And I'll tell you one more
comment. As a campaign consultant, that would be my job.
One more, there will be 0 people in the campaign who will not tell the candidate, absolutely release those pictures. 0 people.
The issue would be, is there relevance to the conversation, okay? If you're the incumbent and you're 5 points down and we're 3 weeks out and there's really not a lot on the table, it's going to get you back in the game.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, here's the deal. This election isn't about this issue. This has no relevance to what this guy said. It's not going to have a lot of impact. It's probably going to kick back on you.
But statistically, ask any consultant, and actually I've never used a consultant. So, but if you ask them, why do people use negative campaigning? And they say, because it works. And it's not necessarily character assassination or bad stuff. It's just real hard-hitting stuff. Works because, saying Shelley's great, but I'm a little bit better. I'm a little bit stronger in education. Shelley's going to get reelected. But if I can say, she hates kids, let me tell you, she doesn't want them to have chocolate milk at lunch.
At the end of the day, I think most people have to wake up the next morning and decide, I used these methods to campaign to get what I wanted, and you have to be able to live with yourself.
There are people who look up and say, you know what, I want to be able to come back. I don't want to go out this way. And that's a legitimate and an appropriate conversation that ought to be had.
It's been an enlightening and entertaining and candid discussion, and I want to thank all of you for participating in it tonight. I also want to thank our guests and Liberty Mutual for hosting tonight's event. And our hope really is that this discussion won't be the last on this subject. And maybe it will be the start or the starting point for all of us to figure out how to return a level of civility to our political world. Thanks very much for watching.